right. Hello, book lovers, and welcome back to Roseanne Reads podcast. I'm Sophia.
I'm Haley.
And I'm Caitlin.
Today we've got our first guest ever, Miss Caitlin. We're so glad to have you here.
I'm very happy to be here.
It's gonna be fun.
All right, let's cheers and get to talking about
Cheers,
our
guys.
favorite. Cheers, guys.
Oh, this is so yummy.
I am so ready to talk about this second part of Iron Flame. I don't know about y'all.
There's so much to dive into.
Yeah, the second part, it was just like info dump, I feel like. There's so much stuff happening. When I was trying to make my notes, I couldn't remember all the things, you know?
Yeah, I definitely felt that way too. Like, I had a really hard time getting through the first portion of the book. I know you guys
Same.
did too.
It was rough. I was like,
It's just kind of slow.
It was slow.
Very slow.
And then it was very fast.
And yep. It's like, oh man.
right when it got to part
So many
two, I was
things.
like, okay, well, I gotta now keep going. And I think
Yeah.
I finished it in like a day. So
Yeah.
Same. That's exactly what I did.
Yep, it was like a snail the first half and then turtle. Not turtle, hare.
Hair.
Oh my gosh.
Turtle in there.
Don't listen to me. All right, so where we left off, cadets left Bezgaya. They're not at Aratia, and they don't really know what to do. They just kind of got an influx of riders.
well, okay, so we mentioned this before is like they go to Vazgaya or like they leave and they're just like, come with us. And
Yeah.
so now they have like everybody there and they're just like, let's make another school.
I know.
Yeah.
I thought that was a little cheesy. What about you?
Oh, I actually was like, that seems like the only thing they can do.
That's
So
true.
I was okay with it.
You didn't want them setting off into battle.
Not right off the bat.
You can't. Like, they got a couple teachers now. Might as well set
I guess, like they said, they're not riders yet, but they're still cadets. Like, you didn't bring us riders. You brought us 100 cadets. What are we supposed to do with them?
but 2 teachers, right?
Yeah.
So like
The good teachers, too.
Yeah.
Who was it? It was Devira and who was the other one that they brought? It wasn't Carr.
No, it wasn't Carr.
Oh, I'm
now
trivia
I know.
now. I don't remember who the other one
You
was.
stumped me. Like I figured she would know.
Well, and I haven't thought about it.
I didn't think
in,
about
like,
it either. I forgot that
No.
they took teachers.
Yeah, they definitely took Devira because she was the one who passed out the flyers, right?
I
The
remember.
propaganda.
Yeah.
Even though it wasn't propaganda.
I know it was all real and they were covering it up.
Mhm.
So when they get to the school too, this is when we see Mira meet Brennan.
Yes.
Yeah.
She goes
Jaden
up and
goes and-
punches him. Oh,
And rightfully pissed.
Yeah.
yeah.
Very rightfully pissed. Like she said, you've been gone for 6 years, bro. Like,
Yeah.
You just pieced out
yeah.
on your whole family. And he was like, well, yeah, sure did. There's a bigger cause out there. I don't know.
I want to know his thought process. They didn't really go into that very much.
Brennan is confusing and
is
also
confusing.
a mystery. We did not learn as much about him this book than I thought. Like I thought we would learn a lot more, and we just
Same.
didn't. I feel like I have more questions than answers
Same.
about Brennan.
Like
Yeah.
how
Yeah.
he was in love with Nowlin, however you say it, right? Is that what
Yeah,
I don't know
my
about
theory is that yes, they were like lovers.
Yeah.
I think that they were, but we still don't know anything about that.
I thought they said that
We
they
don't know anything about him.
No, we don't.
We know nothing about
We
him.
don't
He's
know
like-
about like the day that
That's it. Like she didn't go into anything about him.
he's a mender, right?
He's a healer.
He's a healer.
He's a healer.
Mhm.
Why did I think he was a mender? Who's a mender? Nobody's a mender.
Nobody's a mender. Well,
Oh.
Yeah, what's his
Nowlin.
name?
Mender's name that was helping, which we're jumping ahead, but that was
It's fine.
helping with Jack. What is his
That's-
name? That's been mending.
The guy that like betrayed Violet. That was
The main healer guy.
I
Yeah.
know. What was
He's
his
a
name?
mender.
Oh, I don't remember his
Shit.
name now. Damn it. Oh, sorry guys. We're a
thought
little
it
bit
was
all
ready.
over the place.
I
It's
know.
early. It's early, but that's fine. We'll come back to that.
Well, okay, so our little timeline here. So they're just going through school and Darna wakes up.
Yay.
Finally. And
Little sassy bitch.
Well, she's a teenager.
Adolescence. I just heard Taryn's voice. Oh. I don't know about y'all. I think I said this in the Fourth Wing podcast, but I always hear Liam Neeson's voice for Taryn.
Well, now there's all
Oh, I
those
love that.
videos going around Instagram too, where it's like, who would you pick as his voice?
A lot of people
And
picked Liam.
Liam Neeson.
Yes.
I kind of love that actually. I'm
It's
here
great. Because he's got like that little Scottish kind of accent.
Yeah.
Gaelic.
Gallic.
Gaelic.
Yeah, that would be good. Well, and then so now they're all trying to raise the wards, where she is. And isn't this where they first attempt to do it?
Pretty soon after they get back, yeah.
Yeah.
Like Xaden goes and picks up Mira and some other stragglers, brings them back. And she's over here trying to decipher the journal. And then she goes out, she's like, I can do it. Put the 6 strongest hands there with some blood and it'll come alive. And it doesn't.
Yeah, and we find out like, oh, it's not blood. It's breath.
It's breath.
For fire.
Yeah, that's up later on whenever she's, kind of a key translation error there for me, you know?
I just don't understand how like they overlooked that. Like this book is very cheesy to me. Like,
it is.
There's like certain points where you're like, really? You got one word wrong?
Right.
It seems weird.
I am going to admit something really quickly.
Let's hear
I've
it.
been telling people. So I don't think that these are particularly well written necessarily.
Absolutely.
What have I been saying?
The story is very fun. So I'm going to
Yes.
eat that shit up the way I did Twilight. Okay. Like that is how I feel about it. I think the story is really fun. It's fun to theorize on because honestly, it's fairly simple.
It is.
Like that's how I feel. And also
Thank you
I
for
do
saying,
love
Caitlin.
the characters.
I do too.
Okay. I am a fan of Rhiannon. I am a fan of Violet. I love
Riddick.
Xaden.
I love Riddick.
I love Riddick. Like
Mhm.
I cried over Liam.
Oh my God.
I'm trying
my eyes out.
Well, over Liam still.
Yeah.
I loved him.
The internet is
Yeah.
still crying.
It's
And
still
it's like,
crying.
could we bring him back? And I'm like, I don't think he's coming. He did.
And I even like Sawyer. Like I
like Sawyer a
every
lot.
Main character. I was like,
Mhm.
wow.
Mira.
Yeah.
Honestly, even Lilith, she got her redemption arc in this. And I'm a fan now.
That's why
I hated
the
her in the
characters-
first book.
You're right, but the writing of this
It's not that great.
I've been
it's
saying
not, and it's so
So bad.
PC, and we don't care for it too much.
Yeah.
I feel like she's rushed. Like her
Yeah.
publishers or whoever is like, you need to get these stories out there. We're
Yeah.
gonna make a shit ton of money with them. Let's go. Oh, I
Yeah.
shouldn't do that. But anyways, all of the snaps. Anyways, but yeah, I agree wholeheartedly.
Well,
Yeah.
okay, and then there's Dain. So
Yes.
he definitely got a redemption arc. So he is at what's it called?
Erasure.
Erasure with them, and Xaden like didn't give him a choice. Was like, you either come with me or I'm going to kill you now.
Yeah.
Which honestly, good for him.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's kind of where you're at. It's like you either come or you
And, well,
die.
and now he's like helping Violet with translating
yes.
the book on how to.
I liked
Grace
their
Awards and
first
stuff.
encounter. Whenever they were like translating, they finally have the talk about her and Xaden, and he's just like, well, do you love him? And she's like, yes, I do.
I know.
I always will. And he's just over here like accepting it and imbuing the stone. She's like, what are you doing? And he said, oh, I'm imbuing it. I thought that's what you wanted. Like, oh,
I
well,
know.
he's just
So
a people pleaser.
Even in the first book, everybody was hating on Dain, and I understood why, but I was like, listen, he's a 20-year-old.
He is.
that's true. People forget that they're 19.
They're
20.
19 and 20 years old. Like, I was like, yeah, he's just kind of
He was.
asshat like you
Yeah.
are when you're 20.
Yeah,
Right?
you make those mistakes. When he literally was like, I just said I miss you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was
just
like,
I miss you.
and every single person who read this book thought like, no, fuck you.
You knew she was gonna die.
He knew she was gonna die, and all he said was, no, I missed you, and I knew you picked him over me, and
That made me
bye.
jealous.
It
Which
made him
hey,
jealous.
It did
Even
make
as
him
a
jealous.
best
He just wanted to
friend.
listen to his dad, you know? He just was telling his daddy some things.
That-
Trying to get it's really sad.
I know. I was like,
I feel
happy,
bad
but
for
I'm
all of
glad
the
he
things
got-
I said.
I
I'm
felt
glad he got
bad that
redemption arc.
everybody was like Tamlin 2.0.
Oh my gosh, no.
I was like, oh my god.
Yeah.
So there's poor Dain. Well, and then
Poor Dane.
This-
Hashtag poor Dane.
well, also
Hashtag poor Dain.
hashtag poor Dain. Yeah. Well, then we got the X in the first book with Dain, and now we have the X in this book.
Yeah.
So when they go to
I liked this.
Corden.
Corden.
So when they go over there, we meet Kat.
Oh,
Yeah.
finally.
Absolutely. I love her.
She
Like-
was a bad bitch.
Actually kind of like Cat.
I like Kat too. I was a fan of Kat.
At first I was like, damn, okay. And then it kept getting better, like with her
Yes.
little smarky comments and stuff to Violet.
I
was
want
like,
her power.
good.
Like that power of amplifying somebody's emotions.
Oh, I know. That's
That's badass.
Could you imagine?
I would just be
like,
sitting there making people stew and then having them blow up on other people.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
I just love that it has to be an emotion you're already feeling too.
yes.
Yeah.
So she just plays on that. And I'm like,
I
ooh, you
can't-
manipulative girl. I'm like, I like reading her.
I do too.
Like,
She was a good little layer that she added to this
Yeah,
story.
I
I was
agree.
I was happy with it.
It needed it.
It did.
Well, and then okay, so I'm jumping the gun. So when they're there, they
Mhm.
meet Kat and they want to get
The luminary.
luminary.
Yes.
And so they make a deal. Oh, and then the venom is in that box.
Yeah. The Venon's in the box.
What did the box remind you of, Haley?
Absolutely Game of Thrones.
Yes, when they brought out the White Walker. Did you have that thought? Because that went straight through my head whenever I saw it. Or
Yes.
read it, I guess.
100%.
I was reading it and I was like, Game of Thrones.
Yep.
Right here. You
I was thinking that.
straight from it.
Or even Harry Potter with the Bogart or whatever it is.
Oh, yeah.
It's literally,
Oh,
I thought of both of those things. Yeah.
Like, I
Nice.
understand all the fantasy writing and stuff.
There's
You,
going to be
like,
some overlapping.
there's going to be some overlapping, but like, I felt like she pulled a lot of stuff.
Because they were in the middle of the arena, and it's just like the dragon arena that they were in. And
They all sit there, and that's exactly how I pictured it.
I did too.
Yep.
So
Glad we're on the same page there. But yeah, how terrible of Tecarus to do that, to just be like, hey, come show me your lightning powers, and we're going to throw you in this field with a venom. See how you fare.
yeah.
Mira did do something impressive though, because did y'all notice at the start of that chapter, the little excerpt at the top, it said like it was a letter from one of the professors to her mom, to Lilith, saying like Mira can only extend the wards, but she can't create them for herself.
Yes.
And she was able to do it
She
here.
learned how.
She learned how.
What?
Yeah.
Little tidbit.
I love that. I'm glad you brought that
You're
up
welcome.
because I didn't even think about bringing it up.
I
and
just
love
it just poofed into my head right now.
Well, I
don't even have
like
notes
the
over it.
little top parts. I always try to like piece it or like guess what's going to happen because she always tied it
Yeah.
in.
Sometimes she didn't though, and I was like, "What was this for?" There was just a few that I couldn't figure out where she placed it. You know, I don't remember which ones they were, but I think it's going to be for like future.
I definitely think that she set up like Easter eggs throughout
Oh, yeah.
to.
100%.
I mean, she had.
She's
to.
even said that. She like in some interviews and stuff, she's like, there are Easter eggs throughout this whole thing.
Oh yeah.
So
Well, just like in the first book.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's
it's all
why
going to
it's
tie
easy.
together really well. I want the whole series to come out and then
Mhm.
start at the beginning
Mhm.
and go through it.
Yep.
Like completely. It's funny because I like, okay, yay, I can't wait for the next book out, but like I want them all out.
I
and
want
so
them
that
all
way
out.
I can just like
I
continue.
think we're going to be here for at least 4 more years though, waiting for them.
Isn't that wild to think
It's
about? We
crazy.
have a lot of books left.
I know.
And I
So
want to know
sad.
why she's calling it the Empyrean when we really haven't seen much of the Empyrean.
Well,
Do you have thoughts about that, Caitlin?
I
Your
have thoughts
face.
about that.
Let's hear your thoughts.
So I just want to start off by saying, you know, this is transcribed by Jacinia
Yes. Yes.
in the modern language. So this story is going to be told so many years after this battle. Think about it. They have a whole different language.
Oh.
So I'm thinking that Jacinia is obviously gonna last.
Yeah.
She'll be alive. She's
Uh-huh.
gonna be translating, whatever. She might be one of the only ones around still, unfortunately, in my opinion.
gosh.
And I think that like the griffins and the dragons are gonna come to some agreement, and we are gonna have like a united world because of this whole new language theory.
Ooh.
Yeah.
like that.
And I'm thinking it's called the Imperium because it's going to be like documented by the dragons as well. Like, does that make sense? Like,
It does. It's kind of, yes, it's tying together for me. And I had that same thought about most of these people dying whenever I first read
Yeah,
that
no.
excerpt in the beginning, because I was like, sounds like a lot of people aren't going to be alive to read this.
Yeah.
After the fact.
That's a good theory. I didn't have any of that.
I'm again.
It was like, sure.
Y'all
Just along
like,
for
do
the ride.
deep dives and like you guys go way into it, which is awesome because then I get to hear all of it. I'm like, oh, I never even thought about that because I just go through it and I like read it. I'm like, oh, this is so entertaining, and I always just kind of do a brief like scan over it.
Yeah.
It's okay.
I don't know.
Everybody's a different kind of reader.
Yeah.
If I really like something, I need to know everything. Everything.
See, that's how
about
I
it.
am too. I'm pretty obsessive.
I am too.
I could admit it.
I think I watched Game of Thrones over and over
I
and
watch it
over until, yeah, I mean,
Game
I
of
will.
Thrones
I
season.
always do a holiday
Yeah.
rewatch.
I did
So,
that with The Witcher.
you know,
The Witcher is my.
I have yet to watch The Witcher, and people look just like you're looking at me now every time I say it. Have you read it? Have you read it?
Oh, I haven't.
Oh my
Haley
God.
hasn't watched it either.
Yes.
She cannot.
Okay, well, that's another day because you got to get to it, but it is so good. Anyway,
Yes.
Okay.
It's on my list. Anyways, back to books.
yeah, back to books.
I know we can stay here and talk all day about like different stuff.
I know.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
Okay, well, wait. So we're back at the school. No, we're still over there. So they have to now make
And Corden.
in Corden.
Yeah.
I'm like, we're back over there. in Corden, and they make that deal, and they have all the flyers and griffins,
Yes.
and they can't fly over back to the school.
Yeah,
for
too
the
high of
cliffs
an
of
elevation.
Draylor.
That was stupid.
I'm not gonna lie, I loved their hike.
I liked the hike too.
I didn't like it. I thought it was so
I liked it.
stupid.
I liked the hike. What I thought was stupid was just the fact that they went back to school in Russia. I was just like, am I reading this right? Are they just going back to school?
Go back to school.
Like, wait, I just broke out of school not to go back to school.
Yeah, but the thing is, you have to go back to school to relearn every
That's
lie
true.
you've been told.
Yeah,
Think about it.
true.
Like, I like that it's the truth school. That's what I call it myself. The truth school.
I like that. Well, and
makes
so
sense.
on the little journey there, we lose a griffin
The
rider.
Griffin Rider. Yeah.
Yeah. And well, because it sparks the whole jealousy thing of like, they're supposed to be
Justice.
united. Like after thousands of years of fighting against each other, now they're just magically all going to be friends.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
so,
Here, we're gonna shove you together and you're gonna be friends.
yeah.
Get used to it.
Well, so we lose one, and then she's like, "You didn't save. You saved your own." Yeah.
mm-hmm.
And but
That's
you
when
didn't
Kat
save
really starts to
us.
hate her. Even though she already hated her, she just now has a reason that she can say in public for
Yeah.
why she hates her.
A better reason.
Better reason. Instead of, I'm jealous of you, you stupid bitch.
I'm also jealous of Violet, so I get it.
I think we're all a little jealous of Violet with
Yeah, she gets to
Aiden Daddy over here.
so sexy.
Man.
So they get back to the school and they start to learn. They're in class and they learn all about runes.
Yeah. They're
And
learning to weave them.
I don't. Okay, it was so confusing to me. I had to reread the part about runes a lot just to
Waving
understand.
her hand in the air.
What? Yeah. What are you doing? Like
She's manipulating her.
I don't
power.
understand it. So is it like a symbol on something? Somebody explain it.
I'm
to
gonna
me.
let Caitlin take this.
I was about to say, it doesn't necessarily have to be. It can be a symbol on something. That
Mhm.
can be a rune. But also you can take strands of power and weave them in the air. That's why they practice with the ropes, is so they can get a general idea of how to weave it with a rope. And then they pluck.
When were they practicing with the ropes? Was that in class?
Or
is
Violet
that-
that's the gift that Zayden
Yeah,
got
I
her, was the
remember-
rune
yeah.
weaving
Yeah.
ropes. Yeah,
So sweet.
I know. Isn't he sweet?
I want to know how he knew that she would learn. She would need to learn how to do this, though.
I wonder.
Oh, I was about
Right?
to say he knew all of these things, and yes, he was like keeping things from her, which that is a whole.
Oh,
He's
we'll
a sh-
talk about that.
Anyway, I'm fine with him keeping some things. Okay, can we just talk
Too.
about this?
Yeah,
Like, I know you
100%.
did in the first section, but like,
Let's
I didn't
revisit.
give my 2 cents. But he gave her those ropes because he knew that she was going to have to learn how to weave a rune.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So anyway,
They're very important, apparently.
they like pluck their power from the air and weave it that way.
Interesting. No, you're fine. And so they weave it on to something, or just like in general, like it's just
I think
floating
that
around.
you can weave it and it turns into a different type of power, correct?
I think so. You weave it, and then you can either put it on something, and
Yes.
then it works on that thing. And if you
Gotcha.
weave extra power into it, then it can like do it multiple times,
Correct.
or just do it a few
Oh,
times.
okay. Well, and so like the daggers Zayden gives to
Mhm. Love that. By
Violet
the way.
has runes on it, and to keep her safe from different
Kat.
things.
Yeah. And I just want to backtrack some.
Backtrack.
Okay?
Absolutely.
Because did anybody else catch that, like in the first chapter, when Violet is finally talking to Brennan after literally 6 years? Is it 7 years, 6 years?
I think it's 6 years.
6.
He's in there and she notices he has a rune, like not tattooed, maybe cut or something into his palm. Like it's a rune symbol on his palm. And you see it briefly, and then he like closes his hand. And then we get nothing else. And I was like, what does that even mean? Does it mean
It's not
since he's
meaningful.
a healer, can he heal venom?
Oh.
Because he has a rune on his hand? Is it keeping him alive? Did Naolin give it to him? Like, what is the rune on the palm?
What is this?
I don't know shit about Brennan.
I don't
And
know.
I'm
We didn't get enough
frustrated.
information about Brennan. I felt like we needed more. Like I needed to know the day, what happened the day everybody thought he died. What happened that day?
Well, I think that's in the next book,
Oh,
personally.
it's gotta
Yeah.
be.
I think we'll definitely find out
I
some
don't
more
give a fuck
stuff.
about Brennan, I'm a freak out.
Hey, I want to know what his end game is.
Me too.
Or
Because he's a little sus.
He is a
Uh,
little sus, right?
Yeah.
I kind of agree. He's just kind of I don't know. I think
Yep.
he's a tipping point.
so the runes, let's go back to those. So those daggers that
Mhm.
Zayden gives to her has those runes on it.
Yep.
And they help with Kat and the emotions
Yes.
to stop her heightening them.
Oh,
And she's not wearing them on the sparring mat.
dude, this was one of my favorite parts.
It was the best scene she could have ever written.
I loved it.
Yeah, I honestly loved it. I was like,
This is what this book needs: is just a good old fashioned cat fight.
a little bit of drama.
Literally. Yes.
Oh, I love the drama. That's like what I'm here for.
Mm-hmm.
It was great because we didn't get a whole lot of sexy scenes and stuff or like spice in this book.
Mm-mm.
Not as much as like.
No, they just kind of briefly touched on it, except for the scene where she's on the throne.
Yeah,
which I thought that was a nice touch.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Oh yeah.
Well, and then is it right after that? Because okay, so that's actually coming up, right?
Mhm.
So that's like shortly after.
It's like right after the sparring.
a
isn't it?
sparring match because he pulls her into the room, right?
You look like you
Yes.
want to say
Okay,
something.
what?
I have something to say. I just think it's so symbolic of her becoming queen of Eurasia. Especially because she wears her hair in a crown on the top of her head all the time. And she got to sit in that throne and get her eaten out. And she is the queen. Okay. And so I think that Violet and Jasenia will be alive.
Yes.
That's
That's not it.
person. Maybe Sawyer. He doesn't have a leg now, going a little too far ahead.
No, that's okay. R.I.P. Sawyer's leg.
I know, but also keeps him out of battle.
Oh,
So he'll be alive.
You don't think they're just going to create
I think
fake leg?
they'll keep him like, I think
No.
that they might, but it's going to affect his flying. I think they would keep him out of battle and keep him doing something else productive.
Yeah, I like Sloane too.
Oh, I
Remember
like
they
Sloane.
haven't mentioned her, but
I didn't like her in the beginning because she was bitchy, but I like her.
You don't like her? What?
I like Sloane. I understand her. She thought that Violet got her brother killed.
Kind of did.
And she kind of did, but at the same time, she had no other context.
Right.
Like even the letters from Imogen was like, Violet's so annoying. She's awful. And I'm like,
it's like now they're best friends.
yeah. And she's like, okay, it's a little different. Like you're an acquired taste, Violet. And Violet's like, thanks. I appreciate that.
I could see Violet being an acquired taste, though. It's like,
Oh.
okay, you're a little know-it-all,
Yeah.
small girl who thinks she's bad shit.
And also you have all this freaking power. I guess you are special. I
Yeah.
hate that.
I know.
I'm just kidding. I would be
I
like,
can see from like an outside point of view, I guess that's exactly how she would come off.
Yeah.
But she isn't like
She's
that
not like that.
though.
Mm-mm.
And
I think
so
it's because we can hear inside her head.
yeah.
probably
Yeah.
that she's all
But I think from the
insecure.
outside, she doesn't look like that to people.
Right.
Because like obviously we see it from her perspective, like
Yep.
you said. And I think other people are like, yeah, she just knows everything. And she's
Such a know-it-all
she's
bitch.
the biggest general, or not the biggest,
She's got the highest
of a general.
signet. Like it's
She got 2 dragons. Are you joking? I'd be like, jeez.
I'd be
when
so
are we gonna get
jealous.
a break? Like,
I'd be jealous.
it's my
I
time.
only got ice powers, and she got freaking
All I could do is get an ice cube over here.
those ears. Like, I would be so upset.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd be like, I need to be friends. Like, I would be fine, but I would also be a little salty because
Yeah.
I wasn't the best.
We're like totally jealous of her.
I
so
would
jealous
be
of her.
trying to be best friends with her. I'd be jealous of Rhiannon. Rhiannon?
Oh yeah.
I like her.
For
a
some
lot.
reason, I envision her just being so hot.
Rhiannon. Yeah, same.
I'd be
Yeah,
like, man,
Tall and like
Yeah.
that leader personality.
like,
That's
really
what I see.
tan skin, like
Yeah.
super strong. She's like 5'10", and I'm like, girl,
Okay.
yeah.
All muscle and just badassedness. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm here for that. Ooh, I got a girl.
So
I know, I do too. I like her.
when she's on that throne and with Zayden and stuff,
Yeah.
that's the first time that we get. Well, wait, we find out that Zayden has second signet, right?
That's a little later,
That's
I think.
later.
but
A little bit
still.
later.
We could talk about that.
There's a part in that book where he hears what she says, and it's not italicized.
After you told us that at the midnight premiere, I was like, oh shit, I didn't even notice that.
Yeah. He
It-
answers her a lot.
A lot.
He does.
And I noticed it in the fourth wing when they're walking out to the dragons, and some point, I don't know, she said something in her head, and he responded. Well, she said it maybe with her walls up or something. I don't know. No, because then he wouldn't be able to talk to her. Well, whatever. And I was like, that wasn't italicized. I was like, but he answered her. I was like, that's weird.
She must have done it quite a bit throughout the book, and then people picked up because everybody was saying it after the first book, and I'm like, I don't think so, but I never picked up on that.
Yeah, because we all thought it was like through their dragons and
Right,
through
yeah,
everything. So we
right.
were like, well, whatever. And then he does it when they're on the throne too.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
like reading her mind, and he's
Mhm.
like, yeah, no, I can't handle this.
I think there's more to that as well because she has those. She shares his feelings, like his emotions.
I was about to say it's not just like he's in her mind; she is in his mind.
Yeah.
She knows what he is thinking, and I'm like, I don't know if that's because of their dragons and his second signet.
Maybe or just a lot of power going on.
Yeah, I know it's like
a lot of magic happening.
Linked up together that I can barely share like my location with someone, like let alone like have you read the inside of my thoughts and feelings. That's such a violation of private. Like you have no privacy. So I understand why Xaden doesn't want to share a lot of the stuff with her, and you have to keep some things.
Can we talk about how whiny Violet was throughout this book?
Yeah,
the whole book.
I knew Haley was
whiny bitch.
Yeah, I think she was done a disservice. Rebecca, you heard me. I understand she's traumatized and
right. Her whole world's turned upside down. All the things.
Yes, she's like known everything her whole life, and now everything is a lie. And she's used to being correct, and she's fucking up this book. Like I understand all these.
Yeah, I get it, but it's like damn.
But and I hear that she's had some logical thought about it, and she's like, "Gosh, I really shouldn't be feeling this way, and I am, but it could have been shortened." That's all I feel. I could
have been 100% shortened, Rebecca.
I feel like there was 100 pages at least of just her whining. I could pick out 100 sentences.
We can understand how she's feeling without all of it.
Yeah, it's like okay, got it. So you're upset.
Yeah,
understood.
It was just too much.
Move on.
Yeah, it was too much.
It was. He is the leader of a revolution.
I fault you. Can I just say too? She's so mad at Xaden. Like, you're keeping things from him. Like, bro, your best friend can touch your face and know what is going on, and you don't know how to block people out yet. You got to totally understand that he's trying to keep everyone safe by doing that. Also, you're more mad at him than your brother Brennan, who lied to you for 6 years.
These are good points, Caitlin. Very good points.
Like, if you're mad at Xaden, you have to be more mad at Brennan to me.
Oh, God. I know. She just kind of breezed over that part. And then when Mira gets here, she's flat out mad. And I'm like, this is the expectation I had for Mira.
Pilot's like, Mira, don't be mad. It's like, bro, you're mad at Xaden for
everything.
Like, everything. Every little baby thing you find a reason for him to be mad at or to be mad at him. But yet Brennan, it's just like
Brennan gets it.
Don't be mad.
Don't be mad at Brennan.
Mad at Brennan. Brennan's fine. We're not mad at Brennan. He didn't die and come back to life. It's okay.
That's hilarious.
There was a lot of just like, okay, in this book for me. I was just like, really?
Yeah.
I know. It wasn't like super shocking on some of the things. It was just more like, God, okay, move on. Let's move on.
I mean, there was a lot in this book. The tiny writing, there was a lot of pages, but I just feel like a lot of it was, I don't know, not written well. I'm going back to the not written well part.
Yeah.
A fun story that isn't written well, but that's fun. It's okay. I'm going to eat it up anyway.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Love the characters.
Well, so right about now too is when we get the letter from Melgrain, right?
Yeah, Melgrain. Yeah, he's like, hey, meet with me.
I know, which I'm like,
we have a proposition for you for the revolution.
Would you guys go? I feel like no, I pieced out. Like, why?
My curiosity would get the best of me. I'd have to know what they wanted.
Yeah, me too.
I have to know.
All right, bet.
Especially since there ain't no phones. I can't just be like, hey, what you want there, General?
True. Okay, well, and they do. So they fly back to Basgiath, and right? Or to a neutral spot.
I think it was a neutral spot.
It was a neutral spot.
Yeah. So they fly over there and they meet. And okay, I don't really understand the gist. So Melgrain can't see the battle.
Right.
Like where?
So
Basgiath, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Correct.
But he does see it happening at Samara. Yeah, and they get destroyed by the venom. And so they want help from the revolution.
And now, so if you said that the battle at Basgiath, the reason why they went back and they stayed at Basgiath is because there's more than one, what's the word?
Venom?
Like, no,
like rebellion child. So that's why he can't see it. And that's why they ended up staying there, right?
Mm-hmm. So basically, Melgrain can't see the battle at Basgiath. He can only see the one in Samara because there are more than 3 rebellion children with rebellion relics at Basgiath.
That's right.
So you can even see that like finally they come from Samara back to Basgiath during this wartime, and Melgren's pissed because he's like, you guys, cover up my signet, and I couldn't freaking see this battle at Basgiath happening, and we were delayed, and a lot of people died because
A lot
of
of people died. But that was the whole point. They were trying to take down the wards, so then they could go anywhere and kill everybody.
Exactly.
And they wanted the veil.
Yeah. And the whole reason they even went back to Basgiath, and they were like, oh no, he probably couldn't see the battle at all because we're going to have more than 3 rebellion children here. And they were like, but we see the formation of Venin and like where they're going, and it's Basgiath.
Yeah, they're not going to Samara. They're going to Basgiath. That's what I was missing a part. I was like, something happened where they knew that they weren't going to Samara, but they were going to Basgiath.
They were looking at their maps, and they were like, why are they all over here if they're attacking Samara? And they're like, oh, because they're not. They're attacking
Basgiath. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So they go back to Eratia to decide whether they want to go to help.
Yeah.
Right.
And so
they've got their wards up now. Well,
kind of, sort of.
They got the flame, the iron breath of all of the 6, but not plus.
And it's not working correctly a little bit.
They think it works, but it doesn't.
Yeah. And so
who was the one that said
Lilith?
It was Lilith?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, at that meeting, she says your wards aren't working right.
Also,
yeah.
And like
so children were very mean to her in that meeting.
And that's when Lilith gets to see Brennan.
Yeah.
He does not like her.
Well, yeah.
I know.
But it's acting like a child. They're so mean to their mom.
Yeah.
Yeah, but she wasn't nice to them.
No, she wasn't.
Like at all.
She put on this mask.
Yeah.
For them, I think. Like she said in the end. I mean, I understand her a lot better now.
I do too. Do anything for your kids kind of thing.
Well, kinda. That doesn't explain kind of everything else. It explained why she ended up dying.
Yeah.
So, which we're skipping to. But
yeah.
Skipping a lot of things here, but there's a lot of information.
That's okay. And people that are listening to this, they've read it. So.
Yeah. Hopefully, otherwise you're getting a lot of spoilers.
Yeah. So, well, all right. So then they go for the battle, basically, right? There's nothing really that happens in between this. They vote to decide like whether they want to go.
And Violet figures out Xaden's second signet before we go, right?
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Yeah.
That was intense.
Uh-huh.
I get shock about it.
You just pause. So he's an intrinsic.
He's an intrinsic. And it's crazy because you find out basically like, obviously we know intrinsics are executed on site, but there could possibly be different versions of being intrinsic, right? So like Dain is technically
an intrinsic. He just has to have
touch. He just has to touch. Yeah.
And what was the exact definition of Xaden's though? Was it reading intention?
Reading intentions, yeah. So some people have really loud intentions, so he knows exactly what they're thinking, but most of the time he can tell what a person is going to do.
Yeah.
He can't hear like, oh, you're thinking about you want tacos for lunch. No, he knows that you're hungry. Kind of thing.
Right. That's a great way
to
describe that.
Did you like that?
Yeah,
that was on the spot too.
I like it.
I love that. But with Violet, it seems to be a lot deeper because they obviously have like
there's something going on there.
They're honestly, are they mated? Come on.
Are we gonna have mates in this? I swear to God.
I don't think that she's ever going to call it that with a human.
Okay, good.
But look at their dragons. Like,
crazy. That's true. We've already got the mates of the dragons. I forgot about that.
Which is crazy that
mates everywhere.
He went to Segale to. That was sweet.
Okay, when Taryn was all pissed off at Segale, and Segale was like acting,
she was like, "There's just some things that
she showed her throat to him."
I know. She was like, "I know, I messed up there, babe," but
it's crazy because Taryn was like, "You didn't tell me," and she was like, "Obviously, that bond with Xaden is
extra strong.
Yeah,
It's
literally only the two of them knew.
I know.
And she's like, who?
Which is wild.
Violet's like, who else knows? And he's like, literally nobody, or I'd be dead.
He's like,
why would I tell him
dead? They don't tell you everything.
Exactly, because you overthink everything. It's like, no, nobody else knows there, Violet.
I also want to point out one thing. You know how he has always said, I can't be 100% truthful with you? I wholeheartedly think he would tell her every single thing except for that one thing if she never asked, right? And that's why. I think he would have. She didn't understand that, obviously, but he didn't want to lie to her and say, like, I'm never going to tell you about my second signet. I think that he would have told her everything, though, except for that one thing if she hadn't asked.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah. Like, I think that he wouldn't have kept anything from her other
I
than this
just
thing.
don't even think that he was keeping anything from her.
Not that
Not
important.
Except for that.
Except for that, but like,
Mhm.
And that's why he said
It leads to a lot of other things. Yeah.
Duh, I didn't tell you. It frustrates me.
I
Yeah.
know.
Violet was a little frustrating in this book.
Yeah.
So,
Which we know. Yeah.
well, I like his second signet. It comes in
I'm
handy.
here for it.
And that's why he's the most power. I mean, besides her, like, which I think he's more powerful, to be honest.
Well,
Don't you? Like, I don't understand why everybody's all hyped up about Violet when over here you can wield shadows. You have 2 signets, like, well, one that nobody knows about,
Mhm.
but I just feel like he's so strong.
I think right now he is, but she has a second dragon, which means she'll also get a second signet.
Are we for sure she's getting a second signet? You think for
Yeah.
sure?
I'm thinking for sure.
Okay.
I'm thinking for sure she'll get a
Okay.
second signet, personally.
Yeah.
What-
I mean, that's what everybody on everything thinks.
We'll
as well.
we'll come back to that for the
The
theories. Yeah.
Let's finish this. up.
So well, okay, so they go to Basgaiath. There's the first wave coming over. Oh, before that though, why is there a wave coming over, ladies? Because of fucking Jack.
Yeah.
Oh my god, fuck that.
Hey,
guy.
by the way, show me the body because I said that in the first one.
You
I-
did.
Yeah, the second
I was
signet for
shocked.
Xaden and Jack. Those were my 2 big ones from.
I was
first
literally
one.
reading this book and I was like, damn it, Caitlin got everything right.
I know.
I didn't
Show
get a thing
me the
right.
body.
Show me the body. And because of that, show me all the bodies, okay? Because if you're not showing me the body
Seriously.
and telling me you burnt everything or pretty much everything, that person is alive.
Yeah,
Mhm.
100%.
Yeah.
Well, and so Jack, obviously,
Asshat.
he's Venom.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And
He's not full venom yet because
no.
they're just taking what exactly they need so they can
From-
stay hidden.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's not full Venom, but he is Venom, and he has control over his dragon,
Or
Yeah.
dragon.
which is crazy. That scene
Yeah.
was cool.
I had to
It
reread
was.
it.
It was neat.
When they were in the cave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought it was really cool. But the cloudy eyes, I'm like, ooh.
Was it the
You could-
dragon that had the cloudy
Yeah.
eyes?
Yeah. I was like, okay, we see how venom work, then it's gradual.
It is. It's
It's
not like
gradual.
a snap. I'm
No.
snapping a lot in this one. It's not a snap change. It's just
Yeah.
Yeah, and so he
gotta take
slits
enough.
the dragon's throat,
Mhm.
which is nuts because then he can still live. Because usually, if your dragon dies, right, you die.
yeah, because
Yeah.
he didn't die.
Yeah, and he
Because
didn't.
he's pulling power from the ground.
Uh-huh.
Oof.
So
Which that's another theory, but
I know. So Jack, and then that means all the wards. Oh, because so then he kills his dragon. The wards go down.
Yep.
And they're
All
just
hell
like,
breaks
oh
loose.
shit.
yeah.
So here come of the first wave of Venom.
Mhm.
They all go out to fight the battles.
Battle.
Which was annoying because I really couldn't picture that battle.
Ugh, it's
Ooh,
so
I
hard.
kinda loved it actually. And Violet was like very interactive with everybody else's dragons.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
I was like,
she
are you
was.
supposed to talk to dragons? Because they said you're not supposed to talk to other people's dragons, but she's just talking to other
Yeah.
people's
She's
dragons.
not- and they were like, fine, okay.
I know,
we'll
they
listen
were
to you."
like-
I
I
know.
was like listening to her. I'm
I
like,
know.
I know, which is
What's
kind of
that?
crazy
I think it's some foreshadowing.
yeah,
Possibly.
I think so too.
that
And
she can like
her
control.
Queen powers.
She's a queen,
She's a
baby.
queen, baby.
Well, and that's just like we actually skipped over this and
Queen,
didn't talk
baby.
about it, but Andarna kills the dragon.
Solace.
Yeah.
Solus, yeah.
Solus when they're in that
Yep.
cave.
Yeah.
And so that's also like tying into like her being able to talk to other dragons, first off, which you're really not supposed to do. And then Andarna is just being like, fuck you, I'm going to kill this dragon, which dragons
Yeah.
aren't supposed to kill other dragons.
Yeah.
But she does because she's like, you're not going to harm Violet at all.
Yeah, the elders were like, yeah, that's warranted. They were like, you're fine.
I know. And they just like gave her a slap on the wrist and was like, bye.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of like connection
Yeah.
between all of that and little Andarna. So actually, this is the part where we find out Andarna too, like in the middle of the battle, I think after the first wave, there's kind of like a lull in things, right?
Yeah.
And Violet figures out that to put up the wards, she needs the 7th dragon.
6 plus the 1.
Yeah,
6 plus
six
the
plus
1.
the one.
And then she's like getting attacked. And here comes Andarna. She's like, where are you? She's like, I'm right here. And it's like a big boulder.
Yeah,
She's
I
a
know, seriously. She's like all chameleoned into the side of She's like, what?
She goes, huh? And then she goes, oh, you're the 7th
She
dragon.
can like
Yeah.
change her scales. I liked how when
Which
she
is
was
so cool.
asked, she was like, we all thought you were a black. And it was because she looked up to Taryn.
Oh my God, I cried.
I did too.
I had a tear.
I was like,
she goes, I just love
okay.
him, and he's so
So sweet.
beautiful. It's me. And No, so that was awesome. And I absolutely love that they threw. I was shocked about Andarna.
Mhm.
Were you guys? Because I know that she hinted that her scales were different.
I knew something
She
was going on with
sleeping
her.
too long. Yeah, but did you think of that?
I didn't know that there was another kind. Like, did she say anything about a chameleon type dragon in the first book?
I don't
Not
think
that
she
I
even
know of.
hinted of it.
No. That's why I was like, what?
No, I was surprised about a completely different breed. Like
Same
I
too.
knew that it was something. I just
Same.
didn't know what.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and she was sleeping way longer. Like there was just lots of stuff that was like, okay, Andarna's going to come out of this really freaking cool.
Well, we all knew
She did.
Andarna was going to be a badass when she grew up, but like, damn, is she a badass?
Right. Like I theorized that maybe she was like not a queen. I mean, a queen, like a higher,
Like a higher ranked
Ranked
dragon
dragon.
within that.
but I didn't
Right.
think a completely different species.
So cool.
She literally has her own den. Like she is the only. Like she is.
So she's the
lead of
only
her
one.
own Den.
Yeah.
Like that's wild.
So what
She's up
happened to
there
all
with-
the other ones? That's what I guess we're going to get more of that. I hope we do.
Well, I don't know. And then
Yeah.
the egg, like when she like was waiting for
She
Violet.
waited.
She waited.
Yeah, that was
So-
interesting.
It was so long. And she's like, I knew you were, I waited for you. And I was like, that's creepy.
Yeah, agreed.
Very
No, I loved it. And so I don't even think are fighting the second battle, right? Or they start to come and then the wards come up and then they all like skedaddle.
Well, I mean, a lot happened.
I don't know. Like,
They-
It happens kind of suddenly after we find out that seventh dragon, like all these things, because she's the only dragon in her den. We've already
so
said
she's
this,
the
right?
only. She can only do this once.
She can only do it once. So that's why it was important for her to go to Basgiath to put up the ward. That's why Violet was like, Xaden, where do you want us to put up the ward? Because we can only put up one.
Yeah,
do you want it around Eratia or do you want it around Basgiath?
Yep.
oh, I guess I just didn't catch that.
Mm.
Interesting. Well, and then they choose Basgiath.
Of course. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, and they do this. So Lilith dies because she puts her power into Sloane. Like Sloane is a siphon for the power.
Yes. She siphons off Lilith's power and imbues the stone like super quick. Lilith dies. R.I.P. Mommy.
That was sad. Yeah.
Super
like
sad.
we said, but she got her little redemption arc for it.
Super duper
Yeah.
sad. Yeah.
I'm glad all her kids were there, even though that is very sad. Like, I was
Super duper
glad
sad.
every single one of them got to be in that room. Which, by the way, is it a cave or is it like a basement?
It's the basement.
I
Is
saw
that
a cave.
basement?
I saw a cave.
I did too. That's why I said
I
cave
saw
with
rock.
Jack, but it was also with Solus that they were in a cave. So I was like,
Oh, that's a real cave.
That's
that was like a real cave.
That's a real
This one was like a basement.
This
cave.
is like an underground cave.
Yeah,
I
because
saw kind of like a tomb almost.
I saw like a
Yeah.
cell kind of thing,
Yeah.
like big open, but they were like underneath the ground because like that's
Mhm.
where she was tortured. Remember, because
Yeah,
she walks
that's
in
right.
and she's like
and it smells.
smells like it, and it's kind of PTSD for her. And so I don't
So
know.
that's
one's a
crazy.
natural cave, one's a man-made cave, basically.
Yeah.
That's how I looked at it. Okay, cool.
Well, so R.I.P. Lilith. They
Mhm.
get the wards up, and then the battle ends, right? Because the wards are back up.
Right.
Uh-huh.
And this is the part where we find out about Sawyer's leg.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That was
because
sad. All the injured are coming in, and Justinia is like, Sawyer.
Yeah.
but he's alive.
He is alive. He's just down a leg.
Yeah.
I'd be
Yeah,
okay
that's
with
sad.
that. If
I
I'm
would
still
be too. I'd be
alive,
like-
I'd be like, yeah, I got a dragon to fly me around. I'm all right.
Make me a new one.
Make me a saddle.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and
Give
so
me a peg leg.
what else happens? I'm trying to think of like, I think that's about it until literally she walks up and tries to find Xaden.
Yeah, she
right?
tries to talk to him.
She tries to talk to him, and he has his back to her, and she's like, Xaden, what's wrong? And like goes up to touch his shoulder, and he turns around and his eyes are
Little red.
Yeah.
He's got the red around his eyes.
he's burning.
Yeah.
That's when
I hated that. That was just,
the book ends.
I was so upset with that part. I was just like,
I really wasn't. I did not see that coming. I don't. To me, like for this battle, I was like,
I didn't think it was going to be this early.
I didn't think so either.
That's me too.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't mind this at all necessarily because I think it's going to pose for good story. I didn't expect it. And
Same.
I do like to theorize. And I was like, didn't expect that.
Same.
It makes sense. But boy, in the second book, how many books do we have left? 3?
3.
Yeah.
How are we going to pull it out? Like, how are we going to
so
stretch
many
it
more
out
things are going to have
over
to
3
happen.
books?
I have no idea.
Well,
Unless
there's
we
that
get a different perspective in the next one or something.
Well, there's that theory that I think I sent both of you
Mhm.
that girl said, and she was like, okay, he's Venom, and her and Violet and Brennan are gonna try to find like to heal him basically.
Yeah.
And then he's gonna turn full Venom. There's gonna be like a battle between them, and then we're gonna find out like other Venoms, like other people that are probably were alive that are now
Right.
Venom are gonna pop up, and then he's gonna come back, and then we're still gonna be fighting Venom. It's gonna like flip flop, I think.
Oh, I don't know. I'm just ready.
I don't know how she's gonna
I don't
fill
know.
it though, but
I think we're going to meet different levels of Venom in
Yeah.
each book, and the end book is going to be the Sage.
Probably, yeah. I
Yeah.
think we're going to have like a book where Xaden goes a little cuckoo crazy,
I think that's the next
takes too much, and then they're going to have to save him kind of thing.
Yeah,
Or he dies. One of the two.
Yeah, I'm thinking at the end of the next book, he's going to be full Venom.
Yeah, that's what I think too.
Yeah.
I think this next book is about them trying to figure out how to save him.
But he keeps
Without-
taking more power.
And he's taking more power.
Yeah.
He's like slowly doing stuff that's like pissing off Violet. So we're gonna have a lot of her whining again.
See,
Probably.
if we will.
You don't
I
think so?
think that she's going to know everything, and she's going to know what's
Less
going
whining?
on, and
Just-
she's just going to be like, how do I save my guy? And I'm going to like that. I'm going to like that.
I hope
Yeah,
so.
get down to business. Like,
Should we just jump into our theories since we basically
We're
already
basically
have?
doing-
we're already there.
Now we're doing the theories. in
Okay.
case
Sorry,
anybody was-
everybody.
in case anybody was wondering.
No, I love it. Okay, so speaking of Venom, then was Jack Venom all along?
That is my theory.
I think so.
If you look at the first book,
Mm-hmm.
during sparring with Violet, there is a moment where Jack is like feral, and it's said to have like he has a little red in his eye, and I'm like, that boy has been Venom the whole time,
Yeah, probably.
but so lightly Venom, even the dragons didn't know. Maybe like he had only pulled a little, or maybe he started pulling.
Well,
When
that's
did
what
he
said.
spar with them?
It's like halfway through the book, but
Mhm.
that's what he says at the end of this one. Iron Flame is that there's multiple of us. We're hiding in plain sight. We only take
Yes.
like what we need. So yeah, I
And
think he's been.
Lilith
I
has
think
been,
there's a whole thing going on.
and Lilith has been looking for a cure since like forever ago.
Mm-hmm. Oh, we didn't
Years
touch.
ago.
We didn't touch on the serum much, did we? Isn't that what they use the serum for? Yeah.
Yeah, to stop their communication with their dragons and to help with it. I mean, there's so much in this book that, of course, we're gonna skip over it. So
Is that maybe why they developed that serum? Is
Yeah.
to stop the Venom from being able to control their dragons?
Because they've realized like they can control dragons. If you look at like Jack
Oh shit!
controlling his dragon in the very last few
And we-
scenes with the wards and then killing it.
And you thought that Varish was also as
And I was
well.
like, what about Varish? What if every wonky ass dragon that we come across is actually like being controlled by a Venom?
Oh, that would make sense. Oh, I'm here.
Because
For
think about how Solus in the beginning, just torched all those kids.
right.
What if that was just Varish?
I think that was
Basically.
Varish 100%.
I
You
think,
know what I
I
mean?
think it was.
Because she was like, that orange dragon's a little weird. It's like, it's probably because Varish is a Venom.
Oh man, yeah.
Yep.
Well, and then it says here too that a lot of people think of a rider turns Venom that they lose the bond with their dragon, but you think
I
they're
don't think
just
so.
being controlled by it.
I think eventually you could lose your bond because you don't have to have that bond anymore. But I think that you can eventually, because you get more power, control that dragon. And I do think
Interesting.
that that's what the serum is
Poor
for.
dragon.
Well,
Yeah.
poor Segale.
oh
I
shit.
feel really bad for Segale.
Oh shit.
And
Terran's
Terran's
gonna be
gonna be pissed.
pissed.
How does that happen when they're mated and like she may be getting controlled?
This is what I've been talking about. I
See?
think he's gonna die. I think they're all gonna die, and
You
then it's
think
just gonna be
Terran's
Violet
gonna-
and Darna.
I think that
Yeah.
too.
I think
Actually,
so.
Oh,
I know.
actually, really, really
I love Terran
I do too.
and Segale.
And Segale.
She's like growing on me.
Also, how heartbreaking is it at the very, very end when you get Zayden's perspective and like she's
was
like,
so sad.
"You can't do that. I chose you," and he's like, "Yeah, but Violet chose me too." And I was like,
oh yeah, he did want to do it, but I think that was the Sage's game, like end game
"Oh yeah."
all along. He's been trying to get Xaden to turn, and the only way he was going to get him to turn was if Violet was in danger, and
Yeah.
then to get Violet Xaden. It's all like a wraparound thing.
Also,
Yes.
so I've heard a theory that the Sage is the seventh rider.
Yeah, that's
Right?
what I'm reading here right now. So it's right here at the
the
bottom. of
seventh
this
rider.
page.
Like the original
The
7th?
original 7th.
Ooh.
Because think about it, you wipe out Venin, but there's still one Venin left.
Huh.
So, okay,
Interesting.
the 7th rider, I've heard a theory that the 7th rider is the sage, right? What if the 7th rider was also an intrinsic? And that's why he's in the dreams of Violet and Xaden all the time,
Oh shit.
right?
Yeah.
Mind blown.
And
I like
so-
that. I like that theory
And
a
that's
lot.
why they're like, no intrinsics.
No.
Yeah, and that's also why like the signets too, because I was like, well, if Violet gets a second signet, what is it? And it has to do something with dreams because, and I also think it also has to do something with like connecting to the dead, like she saw, which could be PTSD, like from trying to block out pain when she was getting tortured, but like she saw Liam and it was like really real and like her talking to him, and that's why the sage is coming into like her dreams and like being connected too.
I do like that theory.
I like that theory.
That she has some connection with the dead. Unfortunately, I think for me personally, I have a different theory.
What is it?
I think that I know. Well, I want it to be like, oh, she saw Liam and she can like resurrect people, or she can
that'd
like
be cool.
meet the dead
Yeah.
and maybe figure out how to heal Venin or learn more about them because she like
ask the
gets
dead
her
person.
sister or something
Yeah.
for a little while and gets to talk to him about his research on feathertails and everything else.
I think there's something there too that we haven't gotten everything.
I know, same. And I was like, maybe like the reason why you burn everybody's stuff is because if you have one item, you can like get them, you can like do a sign on them. Like if you have the right signet, you can like see that person again, right?
Oh, I like that.
See, I
like
love
witchy
that.
powers. Cute.
Right?
Uh-huh.
But what about the distance wielders?
What is that? Oh, that's
So-
where they like can cross distances.
Yes. It was brought up one time
Uh-huh.
in the first book about how, oh, there hasn't been a distance wielder in hundreds of years.
Yes.
And then they never said anything about it. But what they do say is like Violet's super fast. She's super agile. And then even in Iron Flame, she's like running at one point. And I don't remember if it was like Tamira and Brennan or something like that when they were in Eurasia. But they were like, damn, Sorengale, we haven't seen you run that fast ever. And like,
oh, they did mention that. I remember that.
they're constantly talking about how fast she is. And I'm like,
maybe she gets super speed.
Are you a distance wielder? You can
like
cross.
super speed.
Well, I was like,
is that where we're going with this? No, distance wielding. Okay.
Well, yeah, because the distance wielders can like cross a battlefield in under seconds, is what they said.
Yeah.
So super speed.
So super speed.
Okay. Is distance wielding like when you transport?
I think so.
Okay. So not super speed.
Not really super speed. I think that it's got something to. This is the thing, though. We don't know enough about distance wielding. But I'm like, why would you bring that up? Why would you talk about how fast she is all the time and that distance wielders? Yeah.
Unless it's an Easter egg to finding out her second signet.
I almost would prefer it to be the dead stuff because that's kind of like my niche anyway.
I'm here for it.
Yeah, but I think it's got to be distance wielding.
That's what like most of the internet thinks too.
Yeah.
Not that I've been keeping up with that or anything, but
I know. I'm like, I keep sending you guys theories all the time. I'm like,
y'all, I'm
I'm finding.
I'm in this Facebook group chat that will not shut up.
Oh, I love
those community chats, and I just like check on there every once in a while.
I love it.
They argue about the same shit over and over.
That's hilarious.
It's so fun.
Yeah.
Join.
I'm trying to think of any other theories that we really haven't talked about. Okay, which one do you
say? I only have one other thing to say. I think that, and this is just a personal thing after reading, right? I think that the teachers of Venin, I think anybody can be Venin. I think that it's mostly riders who have fallen. I think that one reason why there are less and less dragons that are bonding with people is because they can't, because their riders have fallen, but they haven't actually fallen because they're Venin.
Okay, I'm following you now.
Okay, so I do have one other theory that I want to talk about, and I think it's that pretty much anybody can be Venin, right?
Right.
But I think that specifically a lot of riders are Venin, and I think that it's the fallen riders, which is one reason why the dragons are not less and less dragons are like bonding each year, right?
Oh. Yeah. Okay,
Right.
that makes sense.
So
And
instead of them dying, they
can't bond with anybody because their riders have turned Venin. They've fallen off the back of the dragon or something. So they turn venom because they're like, well, I still want to be powerful. They don't actually die.
They don't actually die. And all the dragons are flying around going, I'll have a rider, but I can't bond with anybody else.
Exactly. But I also think that the sage and like all of the teaching venons are people who turned venom for a good cause.
For a good cause. Please elaborate here.
Think about
Why
it.
are we turning venom for a good cause?
Think about Zayden.
Okay.
He's sacrificing.
I see what
Think
you're
about Naolin.
Got it.
Sacrificing.
Sacrifice.
And also one reason why I think this is because I saw the theory is the seventh rider, the sage.
Right.
What if the seventh rider, we actually have their journal?
Like it's Lyra or Warwick?
It's Lyra. Because Lyra said she thinks that for the good of all mankind, we should write down the wards, like how to actually create those again. And she was like, I'm going to give all the information I have, but it cost me everything.
Haven't they been saying the sage is a he though?
Yeah, but what if it's not?
Oh, that's true.
I mean,
Yeah,
like
that's
they
a simple-
say that,
that's
but
a
he's
simple
all
thing.
covered up, right?
That's true. That's true.
I
do like
picture
that,
a
though.
White Walker when I
Yeah.
picture that. Don't you guys?
Yeah.
I feel like is the same type of theory as Game of Thrones when you talk about White Walkers, because when they die from them or whatever, what does he do? He goes like that and he
Yeah.
raises the dead and now they're all
Uh-huh.
White Walkers. So it's
Yeah.
like the same. I feel like Venom are very, very similar.
Have y'all
Yeah.
seen that new Dungeons and Dragons movie with Chris Pine?
No.
Oh, no,
Oh,
but I want
gosh.
to see it.
I wish y'all have, because there's the red witches and priestesses in that, and that's what it reminds me of.
Yeah.
'Cause they
Yeah.
have red eyes.
Red eyes.
Yeah.
And it's just like all powerful.
Scary. They're bald. and
That's
scary.
such a good theory though.
Yeah.
That is a good theory.
It's like-
I'm here for it.
Naolin saved Brennan and it cost him everything.
I think
Zayden
for sure.
cost him everything.
So it's like it's
And-
all for the good of something.
Yeah. And even if it's not Lyra that is specifically the seventh rider or
It might
whatever,
be
what if-
Warwick.
if the seventh rider was like related to her or something, she's like, it cost me everything.
Yep.
I
I think
That
that's a
could
good
make
theory.
sense.
also
That
think
makes sense.
Zayden's mom is Venom.
Oh, you
Probably.
do?
Oh yeah.
Lots of people
There's
think that.
so many theories on that, and like he won't really talk about her, and there's different things. I definitely think that there's something
There's something there.
there.
I think Naolin for sure. Definitely Mommy Zayden for sure. Zayden, oh God, I'm so mad that he's going Venom, but I think it's just still a little early. Like, I want to know what's going to happen in these next 3 novels.
Yeah.
I don't know.
What if Zayden's mommy is Venom, right?
Mhm.
And she's a teacher too, because she was like, I did it because I wanted to save Zayden.
See, is she sacrificed something too? That's why I was like,
The sacrifice.
yeah. Okay,
I think
like
you're
that.
onto something
I do.
here.
I like that theory. Okay. Well, so what would you guys rate this? Why don't we do this? Why don't we rate the second part and then rate overall?
Okay.
Okay.
Because I feel like it's very different from
Yes.
like even first part, second part.
Yeah.
Caitlin, what would you give your 2?
Yes, first.
And it's out of 10, right?
Out
Yes.
of 10.
I do it out of 10.
Good. That's what I thought. For the second part, I really did enjoy reading it. I think I'm going to give it a 7 because I know in the second part, Violet was still just a little whiny to me.
Mhm.
I also think that it's not extremely well written the entire book, right?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna give it, but I did like the story, and
I
I'm
like
not
the story.
lying. I did not hate that Zayden was Venom. I just am worried about it happening in the second book.
Yes.
And because of that, I'm gonna give it a 7 because I
Yeah.
don't want 3 books of us struggling with Zayden being Venom. Honestly, I wanted more of him being a good guy
Yep.
Yeah.
because he is a good guy. I think he's a good guy.
He is a
being
good guy. He's
Venom,
trying his best.
and
Yeah.
I love him. So
I do too.
I don't,
And I love him. So
Are you giving it a 7 too?
I am giving it a 7.
I definitely like the second part way better
I
than
do
the
too.
first part. I think
So
I gave
much
the
better.
first part. I don't even know. I can't remember what I did
I
on the
can't
last
remember
podcast, but I
either.
think it was like a freaking 4.
Yeah.
for me, it was a 5. Yeah.
Yeah, it was bad.
It was low.
It was
That's
low.
for sure.
So like the second part definitely got its redemption arc of like more action, more stuff happening. The ending is turning Venom.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunate, but
Very
it was I
unfortunate.
wasn't expecting it, so it was like holy shit. So the second part, I think it would be an 8 for me. I really liked it, but like the overall arching book, I'm gonna have to give it like a 6, 5 or
6.5.
6.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
it's
I'm giving it a
I maybe like even
think I
right
gave it
in
a
the
7.
middle because
6.
of the points that you made. Like, okay, it kept me going. This, and this. It's a fun story. Bad writing. Bad.
It is
writing.
bad.
Like,
It feels like she rushed it.
It feels rushed.
yeah.
feels
So
very
that's why, like, I give it like maybe right down the middle.
Yeah.
But it's like the overall book is
Yeah.
a 5. I'm hoping like the third one's great.
Yeah.
We get more stuff. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I'm
agree.
excited to see where she takes this series. all in all.
Yeah.
Like, where does this go from here? Basically.
That is what I'm worried about.
I know, me too.
Okay. Who do you want to kill off? Oh, fuck. That's my favorite part. Like, if you could kill anybody in this book, even
Like,
if it's
on
like a
purpose.
crazy twist, I don't know. Like, I always do some main characters. I'm like, what happens then?
I'd be killing off Brennan.
Oh, again?
Again.
For some reason, I think that guy's gonna freaking make it. I think Mira.
I was going to say Mira too.
Because I think the
Well,
guy's
like,
gonna make it.
If Mira died like in battle on this one, and like her and Lilith died, I think it would have been fine. It would have been sad. It would have been like more like somebody died, just like Liam, like somebody.
Yeah.
And then she could talk to Mira. See,
I know. I wish it
I-
was that. I just
you
think
don't-
it is distant building. I'm sad because I
Totally
honestly
sad.
wish it was that.
I know.
What's that called when you bring people back from the dead? Is that
Resurrection.
necromancy?
Or
Well,
necromancy, yeah,
yeah.
both.
Yeah, see, I was
Because-
thinking resurrection too, but that's actually where you like bring them back from the dead,
There's your
Like
body
a
and everything.
Yeah.
like Venom.
Usually though with resurrection, it's like their mind and body are still here. They can still like make choices, but whenever it's like necromancy,
Yeah.
you control.
Oh,
So that's
right.
why like I would say probably resurrection. It's
Mhm.
more of like a holy
Thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Good to know.
Well,
Oh,
we dove into a lot of stuff in this, and that was only the second part of the book.
gosh,
There's
I
a lot of
know.
information.
I told
So
you it was an
much.
info dump. I was like, I don't even know where to begin with this.
And I feel like I'm missing stuff still.
Oh, I know.
You know what I
We're
mean?
definitely missing. I hope we get more about it in Darna, about Brennan and the day he died, Howlin, the mom of Zayden being Venom. There's a lot.
There's a lot.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on.
Well, I
agree.
love it. Caitlin, thank you so much
Yeah,
for
thank you.
coming over
Our
and-
first guest ever.
I honestly
Being a part
love
of it.
this. Thank you guys so much for
fun?
having me. It is very fun. And I'm just glad to be here.
Good. Well,
Good.
we loved it. And so
You made some great points as well.
Yeah.
Thanks. I again feel like there's so much that there are a couple things like
Yeah,
I'm
we
missing.
missed some things, but you know.
But overall, we just want to give the gist of the book and
Mhm.
and our feelings on it and stuff. And so hopefully everybody else feels the same way.
Yep.
Yeah.
We're just excited to see where this story takes us.
Me too. I'm happy to see the third.
So same. All right. So I think we're done for the day. As always, thanks for tuning in, guys. I'm Sophia.
I'm Haley.
And I'm Caitlin.
Until next guy.
Bye.
Bye.